John, I can confirm that Colonial Pipeline did, in fact, pay a ransom. This, according to a source familiar with the situation. Colonial Pipeline paying a ransom to the criminal hackers who shut down their systems last week. Now, this source familiar with the situation not telling me how much Colonial Pipeline paid or when that payment specifically was made. There's some reporting out there from other outlets in conflicting directions on the date of this payment. One outlet reporting that happened on Friday, another outlet reporting that that happened on Monday. Other outlets are putting a specific dollar figure around that payment as well. My source familiar with the situation simply confirming here that Colonial Pipeline did, in fact, pay that ransom, but no dollar figure or date associated with it. Meanwhile, we saw the President of the United States ask today whether or not he had been briefed on the fact that Colonial Pipeline paid a ransom. The President declined to comment on it. So you get some sense of the sensitivity around this question of whether or not a U.S. entity had to pay folks in Russia in order to get access back to one of the major strategic pieces of infrastructure on the east coast of the United States. But that said, a source familiar with the situation now confirming that that ransom was in fact paid, John.
So we know they paid at this point, Eamon. Do we know how they paid and what currency, what form of currency they paid, and if there's any thinking that they paid a ransom in order for that money to be tracked?
Well, that's a good question. We don't know from our sourcing how they paid. Traditionally, in these ransomware attacks, they do pay with cryptocurrency. Monero is usually the one that's most often requested by criminal hackers because it's said to be harder to track than Bitcoin. We don't know in this case how that transaction was handled, whether it was done all in one lump sum or in pieces based on pieces of information returned from the hackers. That information simply not available right now. But traditionally, these things are done in cryptocurrency because the hackers believe that that is more easily obscured and more easy to abscond with than a cash payment where you have to risk an actual physical transaction.
Eamon, was this expected, or was there an expectation or hope that they could get around paying this or pay in a way where the perpetrators would actually be caught?
Well, there's been some real confusion around this point, right? I mean, Jen Pskai at the White House was asked several times yesterday whether or not the Colonial had paid, whether the White House was aware of their decision to pay or not pay. And she simply dodged the question, did not want to speak to it at all. There was also some reporting yesterday that suggested that Colonial Pipeline was in a position where it did not feel it had to pay a ransom as of that time. Now, not clear again on the timing of all this, but it's possible that this payment was made well before the reporting that said that Colonial felt it didn't have to make a payment. So there are a lot of people saying a lot of things around this, and I think it's important to do the best we can to report with just the facts that we know as of right now. And the facts that we've got are a payment was made, but no timing associated with that.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.